Reginald here. This is a micro tutorial for all 3 chain weapons in Darktide. The role of a chain weapon in your kit is that of a generalist weapon. Each weapon has a slightly different specialization, but they more or less perform the same on balance. The chain sword sacrifices some of its high-end killing potential against Ogren and monstrosity type enemies for higher mobility and quicker strikes. The chain axe instead sacrifices some of the mobility of the chainsword to deal higher damage to elites and specialists and even Ogren type enemies and monstrosities, dealing as much as the heavy chainsword does. The heavy chainsword sacrifices even more of that mobility to gain a little bit more horde clear, at least based on the weapon, with heavy sweeping attacks that are able to cleave multiple opponents and stagger those that it doesn't outright kill. The heavy Eviscerator, or the heavy chainsword as those of Bright Reason would call it, is interesting in that it has rather poor light attacks that aren't very useful for much other than quick staggering of enemy attacks or chaining from the heavy one attack into the horizontal swing light that comes back from it. The heavy one on the heavy chainsword is a big cleaving blow that will stop on elites or those of large enough hit mass to then saw for a second tick of damage, just like a chain axe light. The special attack is actually bifurcated into 2 different modes. If you do a charged heavy attack, heavy 1, it will actually cleave through multiple targets, gaining extra cleave and damage, and then stop on any elite or enemy of heavy enough hit mass to saw for the full rev attack type damage. If you use an overhead instead, which is heavy 2, you will do just a typical type of rev attack like the other 2 weapons. The chain axe revved heavies do more damage than chain axe revved lights, but they both have good stagger. It's the push attack when revved that is helpful because it lets you get elites out of a horde by shoving the horde out of the way. The push attack on the chain axe is one of its strong points with high efficiency, good stagger, and decent cleave damage. The heavy attacks on the chain axe are repeatable, diagonal, cleaving blows with decent horde clear characteristics. Light attacks on the chain axe are probably the most controversial in that they have a latching behavior that sticks you to the target with your camera and does 2 ticks of damage. They are generally single target attacks with good stagger effects and decent damage, but they have interesting interactions with plus power blessings that can change their usage quite a bit. Chainsword lights come out quick but have little cleave without blessings. Heavy attacks will be your mainstay with an alternating swing pattern, good cleave, and adequate damage. The special attack on the chainsword is one of its main features. While it doesn't do as much damage as the other 2 weapons, it has the lowest ready time and that makes it easy to get out in a hurry. Like all chain weapon special attacks, the chainsword deals 4 ticks of damage over time, starting low and ending on a high note. The beneficial exception to this rule is the chainsword's heavy special attack, which starts high and ends high with a sag in the middle. As mentioned earlier, all these weapons have similar properties in that they have rather mid horde clear, rather mid single target damage. Their strengths center mostly around using the special rev attack to snipe elites, specials, and Ogren. That should be sufficient to get you up to speed on these weapons. Hey, I just did a tutorial on 3 weapons in less than 3 minutes. Subscribe. I hope you have a great week. Thanks for visiting. Bye-bye.